many people here have had to euthanize one of their animals, one of their pets? A few, it's sad. I think my family has had euthanized like 2 cats. And whenever I talk about euthanasia for pets, I always think about that stat that people throw around with PETA and how they always euthanize like a ton of their animals. And I looked up the exact statistic, and according to Marco from the Washington Post in 2015, 81% of PETA's admitted animals get euthanized, and that's pretty appalling at face value. But then I looked into the principles of why they do these things, and I find that they really value preventing suffering in animals. So when a dog comes in whose face is eaten by cancer, PETA and most people here would agree that this dog deserves a quick and dignified death. And I noticed that for some reason that doesn't always carry over to humans and people today. I was surprised at that break of reasoning. So today I'm going to talk about the lack of a path for people to get euthanasia and assisted suicide, some of the restrictions and things I think should be amended, and some extremities that I think we should avoid if we're going to but legalize euthanasia. So it's odd that in the United States, euthanasia has pretty good support. According to McCarthy from a Gallup poll in 2015, 7 in 10 Americans support euthanasia. Yet, according to procon.org, only 6 states allow euthanasia of this sort, where a doctor is allowed to euthanize their patient, which is pretty crazy if you live in Virginia and you're dying of some kind of respiratory cancer or lung cancer. And you're going to die a nauseous, bloody death in 3 weeks. The state will say, no, you must stay that course. You're not allowed to drink any what you'd call I think it's called a sleeping solution, where you fall into death very peacefully and calmly. I think that's not an ill-willed enforcement. I think it comes from what we would consider the ethics of medicine, which would be the do no harm rule. So in California, which is the most liberal state in terms of euthanasia so far, the rule is, according to the LA Times in 2016, you have to be terminally ill with at least 6 months to live. I think that's pretty absurd if you're living a life of suffering where you have chronic headaches, which is awful, 22 out of the 24 hours a day, or you have ALS and you've contemplated your death for decades, and you are in the right state of mind, you have all your affairs in order, the state will say, no, you must live this life. I think it's pretty appalling. It comes from what's enforced by the Hippocratic method, which is what doctors have to take. They have to do no harm to a patient. And I think that needs to be amended. According to Burrow from stuff.com, many doctors think we should amend the Hippocratic method to mean we should prevent suffering within our patients. And so that means is we should be able to give at least the incurably suffering people the meaning of their own lives. Yet I don't think this is it. I think you can get too liberal with this subject, so I'm going to define what this would mean in terms of what it should not mean. And I'll show you what that means. So I'm not a libertarian when it comes to your own life, because I think I have the same perspective when it comes to guns and drugs, that you should be able to be responsible with your life, but you can't. But there also needs to be transparency, and I'll show you a place where I think there's too much of that, too much non-transparent transparency, which is Belgium, which is starting to become problematic. According to, I think it's CNN.com, just recently, it's 2016, first baby was euthanized for mental illness, yet they don't disclose what the mental illness was, and they don't disclose the identity of the baby. So it's a fear that this is just like legalized out of the womb abortions. And also, according to Plessy from BBC in 2016, people are getting euthanized for things like unmedicated depression, deafness, blindness, and things that would allow them to live a fulfilling life. Yet there's a lot of irresponsibility by, because you don't even have to get a psychiatric evaluation before you can kill yourself, which I think is a huge oversight. Yet, so I'm going to define it like that our world should not be like this. It should be a step back where we can have oversight over each other and make sure that the suffering do get what they deserve, which is a dignified death. So all in all, I talked about what the lack of a path for people who need assisted suicide and euthanasia. Some restrictions I think need to be amended, and what going too far looks like. So if you're more interested, Death and Dignity is a lobby group in the United States that wants to promote opening up euthanasia and assisted suicide laws for those who need it.